Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Kinstretch with the Fitness Alchemists. Though we are not obviously at a desk, this does fall into our desk series because these are all movements that you can do sitting at your desk, and we hope that you will take little pieces of this and infuse it into your workday. Feel free to take the ones that feel the best and most productive for you, or if you're not sure which parts are the most valuable, you can always ask us in the comments. We'd be glad to advise you. We are working on elbows. The elbows, we really are familiar with their function of bending and extending, but a really key component is elbow rotation. And so we're gonna start with that. And actually, I think let's do our little anatomy example here before we dive in. So Will is gonna turn himself into a model of the elbow. What's this one?
This is the forearm part.
This is the forearm. Imagine this is your forearm bone, and his hand is actually this part of the forearm bone that makes up the elbow joint. And then his other arm is going to come in and be the upper arm, or the bicep, if you will. Yeah, so this is his elbow. The way the bones are shaped, they do have this little grabby bit that interlocks, and that can bend and extend, but it can also rotate. There's a little room to twist. Yeah, there's a little room to twist of the bottom one in relation to the top one. So in a second, I'm going to ask you to find what's called the medial epicondyle, which is this little, the thumb part, if you will, of your upper arm. So go ahead and start finding your upper arm bone, kind of smush around in there and see if you can feel your humerus. And then go south from there until you find a nub that sticks out quite pronounced. It generally feels like a really clear and sharp nub. That's your medial epicondyle. And that's the end, the medial end of this upper arm bone. We want to keep that piece of us still as we go through these elbow rotations. So for right now, you can keep a thumb or a finger on there, whatever feels good. Go ahead and close your elbow up as tightly as you can, so that you're really pinching your forearm together towards your bicep, and try to activate the muscles that do that job in here. Make a nice strong fist, and then you're gonna just see if you can twist your lower arm in one direction and then the other. And we're gonna do this for time. So keep going back and forth, trying to twist as much as you can. And if you're looking at the video, which I encourage you to look at your own body once you get the gist of what we're doing, but if you are looking at the video, you would see that most of the motion that's visible is in the wrist, like above Will's watch. But he is trying as best he can to drive that motion from the elbow side of the forearm bones to get as much rotation as he can at that elbow joint. Try one more in each direction, really wringing out that rotation, finding your complete stop, and just noticing any sensations that are present at that complete stop point. Does it feel like you are too weak to go further? Is there any stretching or compression sensation there? Just make some notes there and then let that go. Now, keep your self-tactile cue going on that medial epicondyle. Go ahead and straighten your elbow out. And here it's your choice. You can keep a fist or have an open hand, whatever is most useful to you. And again, try that same rotation. Back and forth. Now here it's going to be much harder to isolate lower arm rotation from upper arm rotation. So keeping your fingertip on helps. Looking at your bicep helps. If you can see like a freckle or a hair or a mole or a tattoo, that should not be moving. Everything above the elbow should stay as still as possible. Go ahead and try one more in each direction. And let that go. And then take a deep breath, just in case you were holding your breath to focus on that movement. We're going to do that same little sequence on the other side. So we'll show from the side here. Find your medial epicondyle, close that elbow up as tightly as you can, and really squeeze. If I was there, I'd try to pry your arm apart, and you wouldn't let me. And then start to find rotation from there. How much can you twist your forearm in one direction, and then how much can you twist your forearm in the other direction? You're on the clock here, no need to count reps, just keep wringing out that rotation back and forth, noticing what feels different on one side to the other side. Most of us are going to be really lopsided, because guess what we do with one hand more than the other? Hold that phone. Good. Keep wringing it out, finding that moment where you're trying to create more rotation, but your body will not move further. That's the dead stop that we're always yammering about. It's a really key place. One more in each direction. Good. And then keep your fingertip monitoring that medial epicondyle. Go ahead and straighten out the elbow, full extension. Your choice, fist or open hand, and then start to rotate back and forth. And again, here we want nothing to change in the bicep. So if I've got like a nice mole here on my bicep, I'm just watching that, making sure it doesn't change where it is in space.
Maybe it's worth saying your contraction might change.
Oh yeah, you're gonna see muscles moving, but you shouldn't see the orientation of the upper arm changing. That's a good point, Will. This is why it takes two to tango, y'all. One more in each direction. Yeah, as your bicep is like, hello.
You're like, no tissue change. And I was like,
no, that's not what I meant. Okay, good. Let that go. Nice. So if that is the only thing you take away from this class, you will upgrade your elbows just with that movement. Seriously, we'll talk more about that another day. So we're going to put that rotational movement together with the familiar expression of elbow movement, which is flexion and extension. I'm going to have Will go back to his original side. He's going to start, actually let's start flexed. So close that elbow up as tightly as you can. Again, give yourself that little tactile reference point on the inside. Wring out as much rotation as you can that brings your thumb forward and away from your chest. And then start to extend the arm out. Once your elbow's fully straight, rotate as far as you can in the opposite direction, and then start to bend the elbow up. Good. At the top, squeeze tightly. Rotate back the way you started, thumb to the outside of the body, pinky to the inside of the body, and then extend out. Once you're fully straight, wring out as much rotation as your elbow will give you, and then fold it back up. Good. Pause right here, stay folded. Keeping your knuckles as much as you can facing towards your own shoulder, start to open the elbow up, extending the elbow. As you open, if you can gather more rotation, do it. And then at the bottom, change your rotation. Palm leads the way towards your shoulder. Good, and let's do that again. Rotate at the top, open the elbow. Rotate at the bottom, and close the elbow. Nice, and let that go. Great. And the feedback we get on this one a lot is like, doesn't feel like I'm doing anything. It does take some practice to wake up these tissues. And one thing that can really help you is to make that strong fist. And imagine that you're working against resistance in both directions. So as you're closing, you've got resistance bands pulling you down towards the floor. As you're opening, you've got resistance bands attaching your wrist to your shoulder, but pretend ones. Okay, other side, find that tactile cue for yourself. Close the elbow up nice and tight. Good. And then rotate, wring out as much rotation as you can so your thumb is pointing away from you and your pinky is pointing towards your midline. Open that elbow up. Good. Rotate at the bottom, wring out as much rotation as you can, and then close, leading with the knuckles. Rotate at the top, lead with the knuckles as you open. Rotate at the bottom, lead with the knuckles as you close. Freeze right here. Stay in that position. Now you're going to open the elbow, leading with your palm side, rotate at the bottom, and lead with your palm as you close it up. Rotate at the top, and open up, pushing against that imaginary resistance. Rotate at the bottom, and close it up. Somebody's trying not to let you, but you're gonna win. Yes, nice, great stuff. Okay, so we're gonna really spend the rest of our time today working on that rotational capacity because that is the thing we train the least, and so it is where we are the most vulnerable to tissues getting irritated. Things like tennis elbow, golf elbow are rotational issues. So if we can make your elbows more comfortable, more strong, more resilient in their rotation, lots of those little irritations theoretically might melt away. All right, so you're gonna need to grab, if you have it, a short dowel would be amazing, but not everyone is so privileged in their dowel life as we are. So a wooden spoon will work really well. Something that's like fairly sturdy and like maybe like a ruler-ish length would be great to have. So grab that now if you need to pause the video and then come on back. We're gonna use our dowel here. And then you're gonna sit right at the edge of your chair so that your knees are slightly away and you can rest your elbow right on your thigh. And this is just to give us a reference point. As we start working really active rotation, the elbow will want to move so that the shoulder can kind of help us fake a little more rotation than we have. And we really want to get our elbows more resilient. So we're going to take that out of the equation by placing the elbow right on the thigh, and think about kind of keeping that shoulder onto your rib cage as well. So first, I just want us to feel those axial rotations here. So hold your spoon or your dowel right in the middle, give it a good squeeze, and then start to wring out some rotation in one direction. Palm facing the floor maybe, and then wring out in the other direction. Palm facing the ceiling. Good. And if you didn't do what I said, that's okay. Everybody come to the palm facing the floor position. This is your pronation, technical anatomical term. Go the other way, palm facing the ceiling. That's your supination. So we're going to work on both of those qualities here. So what we're going to do is try to give ourselves a little bit of resistance. So Will's going to rotate into pronation, palm facing down, and he's going to resist himself, go ahead and show him one rep here, with his other hand at the edge of the spoon. So if you have a shorter object, you might need to put the end of it and just have one side sticking out. And that's okay. If you've got a longer thing, you can hold in the middle. Now the deal is, Will wants to give himself just enough resistance that he can still win, but it feels challenging. And because the wrist is something that like is in the mix here, and we can't really eliminate it, we won't be able to do super intense reps for our elbow tissue. So that might mean that you need to do more of this work than less, because we can't do those higher intensity inputs. All right, so starting palm up, or really let's start neutral. That's what I would like. Yes, perfect. So we're going to work towards that palm down position, and opposite hand is going to give us a little bit of resistance. So start to rotate, give yourself resistance. When you feel like you can't turn anymore against your opposite hand, take that hand away and see if you can wring out a little bit more rotation, and then relax and reset to the upright position. We'll do that again. Give yourself resistance, just enough. Start to rotate, 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 rotate. Really try to feel what is contracting to pull me into this position. When you can't move anymore, take that hand away. See if you can squeeze out a little bit more rotation. Good. Reset, and we'll do one more like this. Give that object in your hand a good squeeze, and then start to rotate, palm towards the floor. Think of it coming from the top of your forearm, not just your wrist. Take the hand away when you can't move anymore and try to squeeze out a little bit more rotation, and then slowly relax. Now, when you take that hand away, you might not see much movement, but if you can feel an intensification of the contraction of the tissues, that is a win. Okay, so then we're going to do the same thing for the other arm. I'll have Will turn side for this one. So starting with your object vertical, thumb up, pinky down, we're going to be rotating palm down. Other hand provides resistance. Here we go. Start to rotate, giving yourself enough resistance that you can move, but it's tough. When you can't move anymore, take that hand away. Try to squeeze out a little bit more rotation. Palm down. Yeah, nice, Will. And then relax and reset to the beginning. Tense your body. Send help. These are small tissues. Go ahead and rotate when you're ready. The more you can send tension and help from the rest of your body, the more you'll be able to find them and create a strong contraction there. Good. And then reset. Beautiful. Last one, best one. Give yourself resistance. Give a good squeeze of the dowel or the spoon. Wring out as much rotation as you can, and then take the resistance away. Try to squeeze out a little bit more, and then let it go. Nice work. Tough. Yeah, this is no joke, right? Will's making it look really easy, but this is tricky stuff. Okay, so now we're going to go the other way. Palm up, your supination. And for this one, it's if you've got that longer object, you can resist from below. If you have the shorter object, you're going to push it all the way towards, so it's sticking out your pinky side part of your hand, so you've got that lever to easily resist. You should feel like the working arm is working really hard and the other arm is just like meh, 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 meh. Okay, so starting vertical ish, go ahead and find rotation into supination, good, and then bring it back. Yeah, so your other hand is going to push against the stick to resist the movement that you're trying to make. There you go, rotate, 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 rotate. Hold when you can't move anymore. Slowly take that resisting hand away and try to wring out a little bit more rotation, and then relax your body and reset to the start position. Now you could kind of see if you were watching here, Will's whole body wanted to lean to help him with that. So be conscious that you're keeping yourself steady and you're really letting that movement happen just in the elbow. It's tough. There's not a lot of movement here. Rotate, 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 rotate. When you can't move anymore, slowly take that resistance away, wring out a little bit more. Great. And then relax and reset. Last one, best one. Get a good grip. Give yourself resistance. Let yourself win. It's like you're arm wrestling yourself. When you can't move anymore, take the resistance away. See if you can squeeze out a little bit better contraction or a little bit more movement. Either one's a win. And then relax. So good. You have such healthy elbows.
I'm working on it.
I know. It's so great to see the fruits of Kinstretch labor, like just in action.
It's not always been this way.
It's true. I will also say, I've noticed my elbows have given me way more guff in this whole computer increase era of shelter in place fun times. So this is a thing that can change, but it's a thing that we can change in the direction we want it to change also. All right, other side. So starting neutral, straight up and down, we're gonna rotate the palm upwards and we're gonna give ourselves resistance with the other hand. Here we go. Rotate to your maximum. When you can't get any more movement, take that resistance hand away and try to crank out a little bit more rotation or a stronger contraction. Then relax and reset. Again, get strong in your body, start to rotate, and really make your job hard for yourself. You want that training effect, right? When you can't move anymore, take the resistance away, wring out a little bit more. Good, relax and reset. You're doing so well. This is tough stuff. Last one here, give yourself resistance. Slow, steady, smooth, strong grip. When your motion stops, slowly take that resistance away and crank out a little bit more rotation, and then relax it and bring it back. Good, okay. So I'm gonna Will face back to the front, and we are now going to do some pails and rails for that rotational tissue. So it'll be a similar setup to what we just did, but loading the other side, the lengthening side of the rotation. So you're gonna rest your elbow on your body, and you're gonna wind up your maximum pronation, so that first thing we worked on, palm down. Now the other hand is going to now assist and give us maybe a little bit more rotation than we can actively make. And here's where the wrist will often give way more than the elbow will give. So you get to decide how much give you want to have in that wrist. I'd like you to keep a nice strong grip so that the wrist doesn't give too much. Again, we're trying to drive passive rotation here, but sometimes, especially if you have really flexible wrists, the wrist will keep going and the elbow has stopped moving a while ago. So keep that, get as much rotation as you can through the elbow. Now, this hand is going to become an immovable object. This hand is going to try to unwind that rotation, and we're going to slowly ramp up that contraction for the pails. Then for the rails, this hand again is going to stay steady, and Will's just going to try to crank out a little bit more rotation such that the stick might move away from that blocking hand. All right, so all together. Take a deep breath in, pack some air down, settle your shoulders. Blocking hand becomes an immovable object, and then start trying to rotate. So if successful, that palm would start to face the ceiling, and slowly ramp that up to your 50% mark. Slowly, slowly, take your time. Good, hold at 50%. Just hold. Good. And now, keep that blocking hand where it is, keep your body tense, reverse the rotational effort, try to crank out more rotation of palm towards the floor, try to make that stick light against your blocking hand, or maybe it even moves away for 3, 2, 1, and then slowly relax. Good. Now, You might have gotten some movement, and if you did, I'd love for you to pause this video and do another set of pails and rails at that new position. We're going to move on for sake of time. So we're going to go to the opposite rotation, palm up. Try to wind up as much as you can. So Will's trying to get more and more this way. He's going to use his other hand to assist. Again, that wrist is going to give more, but we're trying to drive motion at the elbow. Take a deep breath in, pack that air down, start trying to unwind such that you would rotate your palm down towards the floor, leading with the pinky side of the hand. Slowly, gradually build up pressure until you feel like you're at a 50% effort of what you could possibly do. Hold that 50% when you get there. Really hone in. What is trying to work right here? 3, 2, stay tense. 1, reverse that rotation. Try to pry the palm further away from the center line of your body. Try to get the stick out of your blocking hand, or at least make it light, for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly relax. There's a little quiver happening over here. And we already trained some of that regressive tissue, so it should be available to you. Fun and excitement. All right, so new side. Palm down, find your pronated position, maximum active pronation, and then your other hand is going to guide you into a little more pronation if you can find it. And this is worth saying too, Will doesn't show a huge differential between active and passive on this side. That's because he's been working on this quality. For a lot of folks, the active will be very little and the passive will be quite a bit. So make sure you're really capturing that full passive range. And again, mostly at the elbow, less letting the wrist give. Deep breath in, pack that air down. Start to try to unwind the rotation very gently at first and slowly build up, increasing bit by bit. Volume dial on an old school stereo, working your way up to 50%. And again, you'll feel a lot happening at the wrist. Try to make that rotation come from the elbow. Hold that 50% effort. Breathe. I'm going to count you down from 5. When I get to 0, I want you to reverse the rotation. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse the rotation. Try to spin the palm more towards the floor, thumb more towards the floor. Work even further into that pronated position for 5. 4, make the stick light in your hand. 3, 2, 1. Slowly relax. Whew. And again, if you've got a big movement, big change on your rails contraction, I'd want you to bring that top hand to the new position and give yourself a second set of pails and rails there. We're going to move on. Supinate, palm up. Wind up as much as you can actively, and then that top hand can assist to wind up even more. And again, you can...
Can I just add one part?
Yeah.
If you're, using like a real short object, it will be harder to wind that up than if you're using a longer object.
Truth. Leverage is everything.
Yeah, so I'm just noticing, like, if I tried to turn like that, I wouldn't be very strong, but if I were to go like that, I get a lot of...
Yeah, so longest spoon you can find. The long spoon.
Long spoon.
It's like the long cat. All right, story for another day. Okay, wind up your supination, soup. Take a deep breath in, pack that air down, get a good grip here first. So you try your best to stabilize the wrist, and then start to try to unwind such that you're putting more pressure into your blocking hand with the end of the stick or the spoon. You're trying to rotate towards that palm down position of pronation, slowly, incrementally ramping up to your 50% effort and holding. Send help from the rest of your body. Are there any other muscles that could squeeze to send you a little more oomph? Find them, turn them on. I'm going to count you down. When we get to 1, we're going to switch our rotation. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Reverse that rotation. Try to make the stick come off of your blocking hand. Try to squeeze out more rotation. Palm up, forearm up. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Slowly relax. Oh my gosh. We're even, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Sided things are very hard for me, so I'm proud of myself. Okay, so we're gonna just finish up with our full elbow cars one more time to save and upload, and also as a chance for you to feel more awareness of what is contracting to make that full car motion happen. So we'll start with this side. You could pick whichever side was not just working. We'll give that one maybe a break. Find your medial epicondyle, and up to you, fist or open palm. Starting open here, palm facing forward, go ahead and fold that elbow up, leading with your palm side. Good. Rotate at the top and extend, opening the elbow up. Rotate at the bottom and flex. Good. Rotate at the top. Feel those rotation muscles. Extend. Rotate at the bottom. Flex. Rotate at the top. Extend. When you get to extension, pause. Keep your rotation and flex like this. Knuckles coming towards the shoulder. Rotate at the top and extend. Rotate at the bottom and flex. Woof. Rotate at the top, extend. Good. Rotate at the bottom and flex. Last time, pulling against that imaginary resistance. Yes, nice, Will. Rotate at the top and come all the way back to that straight elbow position. Beautiful. This man is shaking. Just want to let y'all know.
A lot of that work is just because I'm not trying to let that upper arm move.
Yeah, it takes a lot to keep your upper arm from joining the party, which in life it can, but in training we want to make each part better. It's doing its own job so that everybody can bring their best judge to the party. That's really the thing. Okay, other side. All right, starting with an open elbow, palm facing forward. Tense your body, tense your bicep, squeeze your armpit. Get as much of that supination as you can, so trying to wind your thumb side of your fist away from your midline, and then keep that as you flex the elbow. The top, wring out as much rotation as you can, and then open it up. Good, wring out maximum rotation at the bottom, little adjustment, flex. Wring out maximum rotation at the top and extend. One more rep. Wring out rotation at the bottom, flex up, wring out rotation at the top, and open it up. When you get fully straight with your elbow, pause, keep that pronation, and then flex the elbow. Rotate at the top and extend. Good. Rotate at the bottom. Flex. Rotate at the top. And extend. I know. One more time. Rotate. Once more with feeling. And flex. Rotate. And extend. Lovely. All right, you might feel sore in some weird places, kind of deep in these little nooks and crannies around the elbow. That's okay. Treat yourself to some extra elbow cars, even at a low intensity. That'll help flush some of that soreness out. Please hit us up with questions. This is a little funkier to see and grapple with, this rotational work. So we'd love to help you clarify it. So hit us up in the comments.